Okay, Screencast to go over all of our organizational concepts. Okay, so again, on our desktop, okay, for every project we do, we're going to have a master folder for each project. So this particular case, it's a sequence project, so it's your name underscore sequence project. Next time, it'll be a different master folder. We open it up. All right, in my Finder window, I'm going to go to the view menu and then hit as columns. And that's going to make sure, all right, I got Finder, view, as columns. And that's going to make sure that I can see everything as columns all the time. So you don't have to keep clicking on this and doing as columns. But that's the best way to do it, is as columns. Okay. I've got my master folder, an interview folder, a B-roll folder, an audio folder, a Premiere project folder, and an exports folder. Okay, and where we got the other day was we did project creation, give it a name, choose location. Always, always, always choose location, and we read from left to right. So we're going to start on the desktop. We're going to go to our master folder, and then we're creating a Premiere project. It's going right there. I'm going to hit choose. Then I have to create the project. And now I've got all of these windows up here, okay? And I'm going to minimize this. I don't need this right now. Okay, how do I know that I did it right? I go to my desktop, my master folder in number 4, and boom, I've got a project file in number 4. All right, the next thing that we did was we loaded our B-roll up. I got nothing in here right now. I've got my CFast card in here, and I'm just going to pick 3, 4, 5 shots. Okay, these are not my shots. These are not sequenced together. These are just 5 random shots that I'm using for the sake of argument today. And I'm just going to pull these into the B-roll folder. I've got the B-roll folder highlighted, and I'm just dragging them all in there. Okay. So now I've got that. Everyone should already have those 2 steps done. You should have your B-roll in here, and you should have your project created just like that. So now, when it's time to edit, okay, we're going to go open up Premiere. So you can open up Premiere, or what you really should do is open your master folder, go ahead and open that project. You'll see the little icon pop out like that, and it's going to open up. I already have mine open, and it's right here. Okay, so it's time to import our media. Okay, we import media into the project panel, which is this panel highlighted in blue down here on the bottom left. There's 2 ways to do it. I can go to my Finder, I can go to my desktop, and I can drag my B-roll folder in like that, and it'll populate. The other thing I can do is I can click on import media, desktop, sequence project, and I'm going to import the whole B-roll folder. I'm not going to import individual files. If I import all the individual files, it just puts them all in a list. Well, this window is not that big, and when I have 40 files, that list gets pretty cumbersome. It gets too big. So I'm going to keep to where I just import the folder, and it keeps my B-roll folder nice and organized, and I can click this little drop-down menu, and there's all my clips. When I'm not working with my B-roll clips, I can click the little caret, and it goes away, and now I've got a nice clean window over here. Okay. The next thing I have to do is I have to take these clips and I have to edit them onto a timeline. That timeline is going to be here in the bottom window. Okay, right now I don't have anything in there. It says drop media here to create sequence. We are not going to drop media right there to create a sequence. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to manually create our own sequence. Why? Because we can control the settings of that sequence. So how do I do that? There's 2 options. I can hit this little folded post-it note icon, new item sequence, or I can right click in the project menu, new item sequence. All right, I have to make sure that this is outlined in blue so that when I right click on it, I can go new item sequence. Okay, and I'm going to get this menu that pops up, sequence presets. All right, I want it to be 1080p at 29.97 frames per second. Okay, we shoot video at 29.97 frames per second. We also shoot video that's 4K, so our video is going to be bigger than the 1080p window. So later on, we're going to have to shrink this down. There's a couple reasons for that. Number 1, the TVs around the school can't handle 4K footage. Okay, and number 2, when you make framing mistakes, there will be a way to digitally fix them later. So we're going to purposefully create a sequence that is too small. All right, but this should be our settings. 1080p 29.97. Sequence name, I give it the same name as my project. Justin Fabiano. Sequence project. All right, now make sure I click that setting and I hit OK. And notice it creates a sequence icon down here. And now I've populated this window with time codes, and these horizontal areas are called tracks. So I've got 3 video tracks, 4 audio tracks right now in this timeline. Okay, and so now I'm ready to work with the video. Okay, so now I go click my drop down menu. I double click my first shot and it pops up in this source window. Okay, and it says source A002, and it's just the file name that I'm working with. Okay, and I can scrub through it. Okay, and what I'm going to do is set an in point and an out point using the keyboard. So I'm going to find right before I swing the golf club, scroll back, I'm going to hit I for in. I'm going to scroll forward. When I'm done swinging, I'm done. I'm going to hit O for out. All right, and it changes this right here, and I'm going to drop that down. It's going to ask me if I want to change my sequence settings because the clip is 4K but the sequence is 1080p. No, I do not want to change the settings. I want to keep the existing settings. All right, notice that the video in this window, which is my final product, is blown up, and the video here, like, you can't see all of it. We're going to fix that later. Okay, the other thing you will notice is down here in my timeline, I can't see the clip. There should be a visual block of video right kind of where my mouse is circling. I can't see that right now. It's because my timeline is zoomed out and I want to zoom in on it. So I'm going to hit the plus key or the equal key. And you'll notice now you can see this is the clip that I just laid down in the timeline. And as you lay clips down, you may end up zooming back out. But for right now, I'm going to zoom in on my timeline. And the minus key is zoom out. So plus to zoom in, minus to zoom out. And again, I'm working with this window highlighted in blue. So if this window is not highlighted in blue and I start hitting the plus or the minus, it's not going to do anything. I need to select my sequence window and I can zoom in and out there. Okay. Now I'm just going to go and do the next clip. Okay. This clip is 5 seconds long. How do I know that? I'm looking at the little clock right here. Okay, all of your clips should be about 10 seconds long because you held them with 10 seconds. All right, these are not as long because I didn't require it when you guys shot this the other day or whatever. Okay, but I'm going to scroll through again. I'm swinging. All right, right before my swing, I'm going to hit I. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to hit O. And I'm going to drop it down. I click it, I drag it, I bring it down. Notice there's little gray triangles right there. That means that my clip is snapping, or it's like being magnetized to it. All right, I want to do that. If I don't have it snap, when I play it, there's going to be a black frame. We don't ever want it to go to black, so we want to butt it right up against each other. All right, that's technically a jump cut. Okay, you are not going to edit with jump cuts. I don't have a choice. This is just the footage that was on this card. Okay, so you will pay more attention to what clips go back to back. I'm just showing you how to edit. I'm going to go to my third clip, set my in, set my out, drag it down. I'm going to go to my fourth clip, set my in, set my out, drag it down. My clips are going to be shorter than yours. You want 4 to 5 seconds per clip. I don't have 4 to 5. You guys didn't hold, whoever shot this didn't hold the shots. I'm going to set my in, set my out, drag it down. These are my 5 shots. Boom, 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 boom. All right, now I can't see all of them. So I'm going to zoom out of my timeline by hitting the minus key. And now I have to resize my clips so that they fit in the 1080p window. So I'm going to click and hold. All right, right now I'm holding down my finger on the mouse, and I start to drag, and you'll see this lasso show up. And I'm selecting multiple clips at once. They're all selected, highlighted in white. I'm going to right click inside of one of them. My mouse is inside one of the clips. I'm going to right click and this menu pops up. And I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to hit set to frame size. And now all of the clips that I have had selected have been shrunk down to the right size, which is the 1080p size. You do not have to do this right now, but later on, let's say you want to fix this jump cut. Later on, I could double click on this shot, go up to my source window here, go to Effect Controls, and notice my scale is set to 50%. Okay, it's because it scaled down all the shots. I could scale this back up all the way up from 50 to 100. I could go back to 100 if I wanted to, blow that back up, and I could change the position. And now I've fixed the jump cut because I have two different shots, right? This shot is wide. This shot is now medium because I was able to digitally fix it, okay? So that is why we're going to shoot in 4K but edit in 1080p. Now, you do not have to double click these and blow these shots, back up. You are going to just select all of them, right click, go down and hit set to frame size. Then they're all going to fit in your frame. And that's what we want. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. I just wanted to show you a little trick that you can use later on. Okay, so once our sequence is edited, it's time to export it out. There's two ways to do that. You can use the keyboard shortcut and hit Command M. In your case, it will be Windows M. Okay, if I do that, it brings up this export window. The other thing you can do is just click on the export button up here, okay, which is probably the easiest way to do it. If you created your sequence correctly earlier, your sequence is your file's already going to have a name, okay, which is why earlier, okay, if I go back to my edit window, okay, I'm exporting this sequence. So when I hit File, New Item, Sequence, and I created it and I gave it a name down here, that's because when I go to export it, the name is going to match. So if you did that right, you're not going to have to change anything right here. If you did not do this right, you're going to have to change your file name to your name _ sequence project. And just like creating your project, you're going to have to change the location. So I'm going to click on this location link. I'm going to my desktop, sequence project, and I'm exporting this. So it's going to go into the exports folder. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit export. It's going to have a little blue window down here. It was exported successfully. Now I'm going to go back to my Google Drive. I'm going to go to, you can go to Canvas, but I'm going to go here, first block, right? I would go into my thing. I would create 3.3.1 sequence project. You're welcome, Landon. I created that folder for you. And now I'm going to go to my exports folder. And again, I've got my windows here, so I'm just working within the windows, and I would drag my sequence to that folder in there. I just drag the export up there, and it'll say drop files, upload them to, and you just let it go and do that. That is organizing your B-roll, creating your project, importing your media, editing your project, and exporting your media. Okay, that's how you do that. Please use this resource as you need.